Hi, I'm Maya from Book from Dreams and welcome to a new video. Well, today's the day. It's June, time to film the mid-year freakout tag. So this is a very popular tag on BookTube. Definitely check out all the other great creators doing it. It's basically a tag in which we reflect on the last 6 months or 5 months of reading and basically do a check-in to see what we like, what we didn't like, and so on. The questions will be listed down below so you can check them out. First question, best book you've read so far this year? And for me, I did like a whole, you know how they do like March Madness bracket things and stuff. So with that process, I found out that the favorite book I read this so far this year is actually a series, and it's the Meet Mishaps by Kimberly Lemming. These are the books, That Time I Got Drunk and Something with a Demon. And there's That Time I Got Drunk and Needed a Love Potion and a Werewolf and Mistletoe. So basically it's a series of books which are fantasy romance books, and in which we follow characters with fantastic names like Cinnamon and Brie, and so and as they get like in trouble, they basically, in the first book, Cinnamon basically throws a cinnamon stick at a demon and zaps him out of his spell that he's been under, and he's like, okay, you're coming with me on a quest to like destroy this evil sorceress that is putting all the supernatural beings under her control. And you know, from that their romance blossoms and stuff happens. It's ridiculous, it's fun, it's so cool. And the Mistletoe is like a short story between where oh my god, I forgot the girl's name. Oh my god, I have to start writing people's names down. Basically, she goes to a fox shifter, I think he's a fox shifter, who basically put a curse on her father, who's a blacksmith. And she goes to him so that he would lift the curse. And he's like, okay, you have to go to this party with me. So it's like pretend dating trope. And, you know, there are romance blossoms as well. There's a talking sword in that one. It's really cool. And in the third one, That Time I Got Drunk and Needed a Love Potion and a Werewolf, basically that's what happened with Brie. And the werewolf recognizes Brie as his mate. And he's basically spends the entire book trying to convince her that, you know, it's not the love potion, it's we're mates and stuff, and you know, other stuff happens in that one. But you know, the whole series is so much fun and brought me so much joy, so it's definitely on the top of the list for the first half of the year. Second question is best sequel you have read so far. So my answer to this one is Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie. This is book 2 in the first Law series. The first book, after reading the first book, I was kind of iffy on the whole series, but the second one was like the one that sort of cemented my interest and enjoyment of the series, because the characters are not likable at all, but the actions, you get sucked into the action and you get sucked in on the stuff that's happening. And it's in the second one, it's just basically kind of, it all gelled well together, because the first one in the series is always like a setup book where they let you know about the world, about the characters and how they're sort of connected. And in the second one is like where the shit happens, and in the second one here is where the shit happened, and it was so good and I enjoyed it a lot. Third question, new release you haven't read yet but want to. I don't have any on this list. I haven't been really up with the new releases this year because I just like, I don't have any interest. Not that, I mean, if I find something and find it interesting, I will be reading it, but I wasn't actively looking for new releases. So yeah, and anything, and I've actually read the one I was looking forward to that came out just recently, so I can't put it here. Fourth question, most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and that would be Ruby Fire by Ilona Andrews. This is book 6 in the Hidden Legacy series, the last book in the second trilogy in this series, in which we follow Catalina. Yes, and oh my god, Italian, do it, probably starts with an A, I don't know. Basically in this whole series we follow a family of private investigators who get more and more involved with the dealings and the conspiracies and stuff that's happening in their world. And there's also like a overarching romance in each trilogy that we follow and stuff. So yeah, the first one in this trilogy was kind of because it was so YA, and it just the authors made the characters not be the characters, and basically gave us like a, you know, a character that didn't act the way that they did before. It was sort of explained in the second book, but I was like, oh, whatever. I guess I was like, yeah, you heard the criticism and then change it up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the third one to see how this ends, because the supporting characters, the whole family surrounding Catalina is just fantastic, and they are the best thing in this series. So looking forward to reading more about them. Fifth question, the biggest disappointment. For me, that would be Sophie Lark's Brutal Prince. I was really, before I even was looking forward to doing the Mafia Romance Readathon, I've been hearing a lot about Sophie Lark and her books. And I was excited to read it for my Mafia Romance Readathon. And when I did, it wasn't really... It's not that it wasn't for me. Maybe it wasn't what I expected. And you know, for something called The Brutal Prince, the dude wasn't really all that brutal. And the main character was... the girl was so unlikable, and it's just kind of, ugh, no. And the people do seem to be enjoying the later series in which you sort of follow the children of the characters from this one. But yeah, I don't really feel the need to actually read any of the others because it was just kind of, So yeah. Number 6, the biggest surprise I've read this year, and for that I have 3 books. So, first one is Beautiful and Dirty by, oh my god, Katrina Jackson. This is book 1 in her The Family series, which is a series of mafia romances in which we follow a family of like 2 sisters and a cousin as they basically all hook up with members of the same mafia unit in Italy. It was so unexpectedly fun and just enjoyable, and it's great. The second one I have is Dinosaur 4 by Jeff Jones. This was a book I read in January. So I had this little reading challenge to read books with dinosaurs, and this one was such a surprise because it's a thriller, and I didn't have high hopes for it, but it was like, okay, people get, basically people are in a coffee shop, and because of a science experiment, this coffee shop gets transported like, you know, a million years in the past in the dinosaur age, and they have to survive and figure out how to get back. It was so good. It was so interesting and just gripped you. There are some kind of, there were characters to root for and characters you hope you would get that would get eaten by dinosaurs, and it was such a fun book and so surprising, and I really liked it. And also I sort of, this was the year where I discovered like like new paranormal romance series and just read a bunch of them in a short period of time, and one of those was Mystic Bayou. Oh, I forgot the name. I'll write the name of the author somewhere. Or you will see the cover of the books. Oh my god, it was so, first of all, kind of ridiculous. So basically each book follows there's like it's a shifter romance. So in the first one we have a dragon shifter. In the second one, I think the dude turns into a bear. Then we have like Selkies, and then we have like so many shifter people, and it's just a fun series, and yeah, it was really a surprise. 7, favorite new author, and for that I picked Kimberly Lemming, who wrote the Mead Mishaps, because all the other stuff that I've read this year, it has been by authors I've read before, which I guess points out that I need to read more new authors to me. I mean, I read a bunch of new sci-fi, but it was always, all of that was kind of, you know, I wasn't feeling it. I'm reading like wrong sci-fi. I need to like focus on the sci-fi that I actually enjoy. All the others was kind of, you know, Question 8, newest fictional crush. Don't have any. I think I'm over the age where that is like a thing that happens, I guess. I mean, I enjoy characters, but it's not like, oh my god. Like, if you want to talk television, I can list you a bunch of those, but, you know, fictional, not so much. 9, newest favorite character, and that would be, of course, Glokta from the First Law series. That dude is so oh, okay. So basically, he is a torturer, and he spends his time in the first trilogy just basically surviving and scheming and just basically trying to survive his boss's evil intentions. Not that he's a good guy himself. He's not. He's a torturer. He does horrible things. But in the second one. In the second book, he basically is sent to take over this town that's supposed to soon fall into the hands of the enemy. And he's like supposed to have he has this like doomed mission of where he's supposed to create basically a defense force or somehow to try to defend the city. And the sarcasm. The sarcasm in that book from him was so good. It was so funny. He was like so annoyed with everyone and just basically, he did his job well, but you know, nobody gives a shit. But yeah, he's such a fun character and definitely my favorite of this first half of the year. Question 10, book that made you cry. I had to think about that one because I do cry a lot of stuff, but it's more like I'm feeling the angst. So the angstiest book I think I've read in the first half of the year is Wholesome by T.J. Klune, in which we follow two boys, one a werewolf, one not, as they grow up together. Joe and what's the dude's name? I don't know. As they grow up together, fall in love, and stuff happens to them. So basically, our characters get separated in the third part of the book because of reasons, and it brings out a lot of past issues that our human character, I think his name was Ox, had, from the way his father treated him and in the way in which he sees himself. And after they get back, sort of come back together, also brought a lot of angst because there was sort of this expectation of forgiveness, and Ox was fighting it for a really long time, and the angst that was building, it was so good, and oh my god, it was so good. That's my answer for this question. Question 11, book that made you happy. And for that, I picked Half Orcs Maiden Bride by Ruby Dixon. Now, this was a book that, as soon as I saw the title, someone was talking about it, and I was like, oh my god, that sounds so cool. And it was so good. First of all, the orc guy, don't know the guy's name, forgot it already. I'm not good with names. So the orc guy was he wasn't like what you expect. He was respectful. He was so worried about his bride, and he was so like in love and enamored and infatuated. It was so cool to read, and it was just, the whole thing just made me really happy because the ridiculousness of the situations they find themselves in. Because he basically gets a bride, and to get married they have to suddenly follow some orc traditions which are ridiculous, and the two of them trying to figure out how to have sex and how how that comes about with communication and stuff. And it was so good, and it was so fun, and it just really made me happy. Question 12, most beautiful book you have bought so far or received. I'm just going to show you a book that was a complete cover by, because I still don't know what the hell this book is about, and that is Anthony Ryan's The Waking Fire. Let me try. Okay, like this. So here you have a giant dragon, and you have a dude who's standing there. Oh, dragon has chains here, so that's interesting. Basically a cover by. I have no idea what this book is about, and I'm saving it for Draconathon that's happening in August. But yeah, this one. And last question, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, Christina and I have some reading projects coming up. I think starting in September we're going to read, or October, we are reading the Bone Saga, so by Fondali, so Jade City, Jade War, and Jade something else, Jade Legacy, I guess. And what else? I want to actually continue on with the Joe Abercrombie read along. I'm sort of now technically 2 books behind because I'm in a reading slump, so I don't feel like reading stuff at all. But other than that, I don't really have a list of books that I have to read. So yeah, that's my mid-year freakout tag. Consider yourself tagged if you watch this video and if you want to do it. The questions will be down below, as I said before. Definitely share your thoughts on my answers down below in the comments. If you like this video, press the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do check out all the links in the description box. And that's it. Bye!